Good afternoon. Here we are again. I'm Otis.
I'm Jerry.
And we are two guys catching up on football. This is our opportunity to have a weekly talk between me and Jerry. We used to work together, and we did this every Monday morning. We'd waste 2 hours of the company time talking about football on Monday morning and getting paid for it. And so now we're spending about 20 to 30 minutes talking about football and not getting paid for it. So
Yeah.
we we're pretty smart. But this weekend there was no college football, which was good in a sense. But we had a lot of NFL stuff that went
I think
on starting last Thursday. Um, so starting with Thursday's game, the Patriots scored 21 points in a game.
who saw that coming?
I don't think anybody did. I
What
really
was
thought that was going to be just
I think the over/under was a 30-year low of 29 points in that game. It had been the lowest over/under in 30 years, I believe.
I think so. It was something
Yeah,
like
something like
39.
that.
It was 39, or it went down to like 32 or something like that. And they pretty much had it at halftime, and nobody expected that.
Yeah, nobody.
Yeah. So that was just yeesh.
Well, well, we got the more zhish on Sunday. We'll get to that
Oh
one
yeah,
later.
yeah.
Yeah.
So let's talk. So the Jets. Oh my goodness, the Jets beat the Texans. So this was a what's the word I'm trying to use?
A
This was a
miracle.
real life invasion of the body
Yeah,
snatchers.
I know. I didn't understand that when Zach Wilson turned into Tom Brady and Joe Montana all rolled into one kind of
So,
thing.
so I was trying to think yesterday which old time quarterback who has passed away decided he wanted to play football for the Jets on Sunday,
Yeah, I don't.
and and, and Zach.
Is Unitas? I don't think Unitas is with us anymore. Maybe it was
Maybe it
Johnny
was
Unitas.
Maybe it was Unitas, because Zach had a séance on Saturday night and
I don't
invoked the
know what.
spirit of Johnny
Yeah,
Unitas, because
yeah.
it had to be. I mean, it had to be. So
Granted, I was taken aback. I didn't realize till a little bit midway that C.J. Stroud did not play. So that hurt the Texans. He was in the
no,
concussion
well, yeah,
protocol.
he did play most of the time, but
Oh, did he?
yeah, he did play most of the time, but um, uh, the one his main receiver Dell was out, and then the next guy got hurt, so he didn't have either one of
Oh,
his.
he had nobody. Yeah.
Yeah, he had no one. He would and the
Now,
Jets.
actually, and here's a good question. I'm thinking this is live podcast. I'm just thinking of this question right now because I don't know the answer, and I'm not sure if I've seen anything. What was Aaron Rodgers' reaction to Zach Wilson playing so great?
I don't know. I don't
Okay.
know. I haven't
Well,
I haven't seen anything, so I don't know.
give him a pat on the back, or did he?
I don't think he celebrated with him. One of
Right.
the other quarterbacks did, but it wasn't Aaron. So yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, he's in it for himself. So enough said about Aaron Rodgers. So the most exciting game was the Ravens and the Rams. That
My
was
God. Yeah.
that was without a doubt back and forth, and everybody's. I mean, Na- excuse me, Nakua is catching everything within a 15-yard radius.
Yeah.
And it
I
does.
I thought if the Rams, well, they're on the upswing. The Rams win that game, and all of a sudden you're thinking, man, they're going to make the playoffs.
It
They're
was
not. Yeah,
it
they
was
still
looking
had a
pretty
shot
good.
at it. I think. I think they're a
Yeah,
game back of the Packers, so
yeah, they're
it'll be
they're
okay.
6-7 now, I
Yeah.
think. And
Yep.
but that punt return for a touchdown.
Wow.
They said there's only been four
Huh.
in the NFL punt returns for touchdowns in overtime. Uh, I think one of them was Deshaun Jackson
Hmm.
when the Eagles played the Giants. I think that was one. I don't remember who did the other one this year, but they said there was two this year, and then the one yesterday. So I'm not sure.
Really?
I'm not
Huh.
sure who that was, but they said there's only been four in the history of the NFL in overtime. And
Wow.
so, yeah. But that
What
was,
a way
I
to
thought
finish.
they had him a couple of times,
Yeah.
and he squirmed out of it, and that was a very good game, and it
Yeah.
wasn't a 3-0 game, which we'll talk about in a little bit, but it was still a very good game. Um,
And the Ravens a pretty important win there because their
right.
schedule coming up is brutal.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Well, they've got the 49ers next, I think.
I think so.
Yeah, they've got the 49ers
Uh,
next, and or is it
might be.
no, it's Dallas next,
Yeah.
and then the
Dallas
49ers.
Niners. Dallas Niners. Somebody Steelers.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
thinking the
So
third team. It's not Steelers, but
yeah, yeah,
I can't remember the other team.
yeah. And then we
Might be
had
Miami. Yeah.
the Saints and Panthers. Enough said about that game.
Yeah,
So
that's it. Move on.
yeah, let's move on. Um, and then the Bengals and the Colts. Jake Browning looks really, really good.
Yeah, that's
I think some team who will not be able to get one of the guys from out of the draft. I think some team is going to look at maybe offering Cincinnati something for Jake
yeah, maybe.
because he's
They played. That was another. That was a big. That was an important game, and the
yeah,
Bengals won. And the Bengals are right back in the playoff hunt
yeah,
again.
yeah, yeah. I think they're in
Yeah.
I think they're in the seventh spot.
I think they do that. Didn't they do that last year or the year before? They started 1-5, and you would think they're finished.
Right.
No, they're not.
Yeah. Yeah. So just a
I think they did that the year they reached the Super Bowl. Yeah,
yeah, just
right.
a
2 years
different
ago.
quarterback, but same story. They're starting to play really good football.
Yep.
Well, they've
When it
got
counts.
some really good wide receivers and a good running back. They've got good offensive skill players, and the defense puts enough pressure on the quarterback to make a difference. So they're doing pretty good. Um, Buccaneers and Falcons.
Man.
Baker, Baker, Baker.
Yeah.
Baker is the man.
Tampa Baker. Yeah. Was when he was in Cleveland, they'd say Cleveland or Baker touchdown maker.
Baker, Baker, Baker. It is.
Yeah.
I mean,
Good for him.
I like Baker, so I'm happy that he's playing well.
Now they're leading the division at 6-7. So
Well,
yeah,
last year they won at seven. I think they were 7-9 last year,
yeah,
or eight and
probably or
nine. Something they were
yeah,
under 500, and they got to
yeah.
host a game, and they lost right away. But
It's a terrible rule, but
yeah, yeah. So, but the some of the talk I heard today was maybe the Falcons making a trade for Justin Fields because Chicago is
go with
gonna use
Caleb.
that first pick because the first pick belongs to Carolina,
But
and Carolina had traded it to them.
you think
And
Chicago's going to take Caleb?
yeah, probably. I don't know. I I'm not in such. Justin Fields is just in a bad situation. I mean,
Yeah, he needs a new spot. I mean, same as
but
Baker Mayfield.
Eberflus is not a good head
No,
coach.
no. He probably won't. I don't even think he'll be there.
I don't think so either. And
Yeah,
so because he's not gonna be there, whoever comes in as the head coach is going to want the guy that he wants to be able to coach.
Oh
So
yeah,
I think if Justin Fields does go to Atlanta and plays for Arthur Smith, who is like, where's Waldo? If you
yeah.
had him on Main Street, you couldn't pick him out, even if he had on a red and white striped shirt. I, that, that guy is the most non-head coach looking head coach in the history of pro football. But the guy's a good coach. I mean, he's a really,
But
really good coach. He
now, do
just,
you give up? Do they give up on Ritter?
yeah, I think so. I
Okay,
think
maybe
so.
Ritter's just a backup then.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I think Arthur Smith and Tomlin are both in the position that they just don't have a good quarterback.
No.
If the Steelers could get Justin Fields, that would be good also. But
Well,
there's a lot of teams could really use
yeah.
Justin Fields. He's better.
I was just thinking. I would like to see this. I don't think it'll happen. But if the Steelers somehow get talked into firing Mike Tomlin, how about Tomlin in Chicago?
That would be good.
I would
That
like
would be
that as a
good.
good. That's a good fit.
Yeah,
I
that
think.
would be good. Yeah, so it's we shall see. There's going to be a lot of changes and stuff. All right, now we're getting to your favorite game. The Browns beat the
Whew.
Jaguars.
Man, did they, they 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 got fortunate. They got lucky on a late call that was a pass interference that they didn't call. But regardless, they put up points, and
They put up
Miles
31.
Garrett had a late sack that was huge. He
Yeah.
did what he needed to do. Huge, huge win. They needed to win at least two of their last four, and they should be okay.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yesterday was a huge win. I thought that was just a big win.
Now
And the
was
crazy thing, the Browns are getting calls from the refs. This is it's like the Raiders getting calls in their favor. What is going on?
now was 31 points the most that they've scored this year?
No, in fact, I think Deshaun had higher, and I think they scored 35 with PJ Walker at quarterback
Oh,
versus the Colts. So
oh,
there you
okay.
go. I do give Kevin Stefanski a ton of credit. How many guys? They have started four different QBs. Each of those QBs has a win. That's pretty impressive,
That
actually.
is, and they've stayed in that wild card spot, through all those
Yeah,
different. Those are a lot. That's a lot of quarterbacks for one
that's a
team to
lot of
go.
quarterback
I
changes.
mean, the 49ers almost went through four quarterbacks in one
And
in one game last year,
yeah,
but
I think the other is comparing the skill set of Deshaun Watson versus PJ Walker versus Dorian Thompson Robinson and Joe Flacco. These are all I mean, Robinson and Flacco are almost opposite in skill set.
totally,
Yeah,
totally
yeah,
180
yeah.
degrees.
I mean, Flacco isn't going to scramble
No,
anywhere, but he's
Flacco, the
yeah,
defensive line knows where they're going to find him. They don't
yeah.
have to, but also the offensive line knows where he's going to be.
That's true too.
So there's a whole lot less of a holding factor because
Right.
the offensive line knows where he's going to be, and
That's true.
they're
Good
not worried
point.
about him being anywhere he's not
Yeah,
supposed
good
to be.
point.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So it's but
I did see they lost.
congratulations to him.
Yeah, they did lose another. They lost another offensive lineman for the year. That's even almost a miracle in itself because they have lost so many players
Yeah,
and they're still winning. So I give them a lot of credit.
yeah. And for those people who might be listening to us for the first time, Jerry is a Cleveland Browns fan.
Yeah.
On most Sundays, he's kind of like bad luck schleprock. He's
Oh,
he's kind of
absolutely.
waiting. He's
Yeah.
kind of if the Browns are up 14-0, and he pretty much says, "Yeah, they'll figure out some way to lose this game." So That's
I've
pretty
seen it
funny.
too much.
Yeah. So and then we got
I've been conditioned.
the Bears beat the Lions, and the Lions are a fraud. Yeah.
Okay, I saw your text,
Yeah.
and I agree.
Yeah.
I'm not a believer now. I thought they were the feel good story, and they were a little bit, but no.
Yeah, I mean they did. They beat the Packers when the Packers could make it to the playoffs, and the Packers had Aaron Rodgers. They beat them in the last game last year. They beat the
Yeah,
Chiefs in the first game this year, and they have pretty much beaten the teams at home that they should beat,
that they should
which
be.
they
Yeah,
should. But this was a team, even though they were on the road, and Jared Goff doesn't play well outside in the weather. This was a team really that they still should have beaten. Um,
I, I think they play the Broncos this weekend, which will be a good test for them again.
yeah, yeah,
Pretty sure. Yeah.
yeah. So, and then we
Yeah,
have
and I saw Coach Campbell said, "Well, I got to coach him harder." Or one of his. I like Coach Campbell, but at this stage too, I was thinking, I don't know about his. That style is kind of tiresome a little bit, but
it does get to be right now the team is still listening to him, and so it's okay. But
yeah,
at some point, the veterans on the team are going to get tired of it,
yeah,
and if he doesn't really change his ploy or his tactics, you can't tell a guy year after year, let's bite him in the kneecap. After a while,
you're right. Yeah,
they stop listening. So
yeah.
yeah. So and then we're going to get to 49ers beat the Seahawks yesterday,
Whew.
and that was you know
Well, you were right. Drew Lock had you a little scared there for a little bit. I
well, when
know, right?
Drew Lock
Yeah.
dropped that dime in to DK Metcalf, I went, here they go. They have such a hard time with backup quarterbacks. Who was it? The Raider backup last year threw for, and I forgot. Oh, Jarrett Stidham.
Oh yeah, Stinson. Yeah,
Stidham. Yeah.
yeah.
Uh,
Stidham, you're right. Not Stinson.
when he threw for over 300 yards and 4 touchdowns, and
Yeah, it
really
was a close game.
they
Yeah,
could have won the game. But they do that with every single backup. It's like they ease off the pressure because they know he's a backup. And so the guy winds up, hey, I'm in the pros here, Ace. You better bring your A game. I mean, don't just discount me just cause. But
yeah,
Purdy should be the MVP this year.
yeah.
Should be. Everybody's talking about Dak, but when they played head to head, Purdy embarrassed him, and
Oh
so
yeah,
that
absolutely.
to me is what matters.
I think on your Niners schedule, the only tough game left is Baltimore.
Yeah, I.
Yeah.
But they've got to play the Rams. They've got the
Eh,
Cardinals next, and so the Smurf might do something. It's hard to say with him.
well, it's possible, but highly
Yeah, it's hard
unlikely.
to say with him.
Yeah.
Um,
Never discount the Smurf because he's
no,
always running
no.
around all over the
Right.
place.
So
So,
they've got the Cardinals and then the Ravens
yeah.
and
And
then the Commanders and then the Rams. So, and
yeah,
for those who
okay.
are listening to our podcast for the first time, um, I am a 49ers fan. I'm not a big Kyle Shanahan fan, but
No.
I am a 49er fan. And I get to be bad luck schlep rock during the game also because I figure
It
Shanahan is
rubbed off
going to.
on you. Yeah.
Yeah, I figure Shanahan's going to figure out some way to not get touchdowns. Although I will give him credit this year, and maybe it's because Purdy is a much better quarterback than who he's had before. This year,
Yeah.
he seems to be going after the touchdowns and not just settling for field goals. So,
Yeah.
because
You have to.
they're averaging about 30 points a game. I think they're second to Dallas in points per game, and so
With that defense, they're going to be. You score 30 points, you should be
you're
fine.
supposed to win with that
Yeah, you
defense.
should
You're
be
supposed
fine.
to, yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So okay, And then we had the Vikings and Raiders play.
Oh
Enough said.
man.
But I gotta
Woo.
tell people who are listening. I texted Jerry yesterday. It was 0-0 inside the 2 minute warning. And I said that the head official, the head referee, if it winds up in a 0-0 tie, should have the discretion to say, you know what? We are not doing this for another 10 minutes.
Yeah.
The game is over. We'll end in a tie
Yeah.
here. He should
Yeah.
have the discretion for that. This is
The coin flip says that this game is over. It's a tie.
this is the NFL. This is not junior high football.
Oh my
And if you
goodness.
can't, if in 60 minutes of play, if you can't score, then
Well,
yeah, the game is over with. There's no need in putting people
you
in
know,
danger.
that's what happens when you pull out the MVP, the Pastronaut, Dobbs. They switched to, I can't even think of the guy's name. The Vikings put in their backup to Dobbs, whoever that is.
Uh,
And well, there you have it. They didn't score anything.
but
So.
I must say, in Kevin O'Connell's
Yeah.
on his behalf, uh, Joshua Dobbs is showing everybody why he's been on 6 teams.
Yeah, that's why. Yes. Yes. And there was 4 weeks ago, there were Browns fans wanting to fire Andrew Berry, their GM, because he got rid of Josh Dobbs. Well,
They see this. They
time
see.
to apologize, people.
Yeah,
It's never too late to
yeah.
apologize.
It's never too late to apologize. Joshua Dobbs was our front runner for the MVP early,
Oh, man.
but he's kind of gone. He's kind of leveled back to his ability now. So
We'll have to call him the MFP, most favorite player of the year.
MFP, most favorite player.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
Because has been our favorite. Yeah.
yes. And so now we have the Broncos at the Chargers, and it is
Oh,
and
that's a nice.
it is the Brandon Staley watch. He
Yeah,
he wasn't
I
fired
think it.
today.
No, but he's on a farewell tour at this point. He's just going to places and saying thanks, goodbye.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he goes down on the field and goes, "Thank you,
Yeah.
thank you, thank you."
I
Yeah.
can't even remember who I saw. It was might have been Rex Ryan, but somebody I think said publicly he needs to go back to Division II football where he belongs.
Oh,
So yeah,
it was probably Rex Ryan.
yeah, might have been Rex Ryan.
It was probably Rex Ryan. He's
What an hands down, right? The most underachieving team of the year.
the
Yeah,
most
right?
underachieving
Gotta
team,
be.
most underachieving team
Yeah,
the last 3 years.
yeah.
Since they've got Justin Herbert. So yeah,
But on that note too, as you as I have talked about it, maybe Herbert is kind of he's a good quarterback, but is he elite? Maybe not.
I don't think he is. I think he showed us in college who he was, and to expect him to be any different is
Yeah.
is just fool's gold. So
He's a starter. Maybe he's kind of like a Derek Carr. He's a good starter, but that's about all you're going to get out of him.
yeah,
Kind of.
pretty much, pretty much. All right, and we come to the game, the Bills and the Chiefs.
Oh man, and somebody needed to give Patrick Mahomes, like somebody said, is get Jake from State Farm and give him a hug or give him a chicken nugget or whatever they have in the commercial
He
because that was
he
ridiculous.
needed a hug so
Yeah,
bad yesterday. And the thing
but
is, I think it just kind of gave him a reason to vent, and he was able to vent on someone who is not in his locker room, because he's not going to throw his receivers under the bus,
no,
although he should. But I haven't seen yet today, but I would not be surprised if his wife comes out on Twitter or something and says, "Hey,
Brittany.
Patrick can't throw the ball and catch it too. He can't walk up and down
Yeah,
the
right.
line and make sure you are
Yep.
lined up correctly. You are being paid just like he's being paid, albeit not as much, but you shouldn't make as much because you can't catch the ball and you're lining up offside."
Right. You do make me think is so if he was lined, why didn't they blow it right at the snap?
Because they don't do it, they don't blow it at the snap for the offense.
Okay.
If
Oh, good
it's
point.
if
Yeah,
it's
just in
off
case
if
maybe.
it's offside or defensive offside, they don't blow
Eh,
it dead at the snap. If he had moved right before, then they blow it dead because the movement makes it look like the play has started when it hasn't. So that's
Okay.
why they didn't. And he never looked
Eh,
at the side judge. He never looked
No.
at him.
And they usually do check off. They check
If
off, make sure they're okay.
he had
Yeah.
looked at him, the guy would have told him to move back
Yeah.
before it
Yep.
got snapped. He would have
Oh,
told him
you're right.
as soon as.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it,
And the Chiefs, I mean, let's get real with Patrick Mahomes is come on, dude, you've had a lot of calls go your way over the
oh
last
yeah,
few years.
yeah.
So,
It's, but
you know,
I think he's getting frustrated. They didn't get the defensive pass interference last week, which they should have gotten, and then this week he gets a call that goes against him, and so
yeah,
now
well,
he's starting to get. Wait a minute. What is this conspiracy here that we're not getting calls we should get? We're getting called for stuff, and Dan Orlovsky was showing on NFL Live that Kadarius Toney lined up at least 4 times before that
oh, offside.
offside, and it was
No
never
call.
called. But
Wow.
I think he was on the other side of the field from this particular official who probably saw it the rest of the time in the game, but it wasn't his responsibility. And if the other guy
Right.
doesn't call it, but the thing is, he was offside. And now,
Yeah, he was. You could. That was very easy to see.
you know,
And the other one I don't is this right? Mahomes has he never played on a road playoff game, or
no,
is it that he's never won
he has never played on
on
the
the
road.
road in the playoffs?
They have either
Well, it sure seems like he doesn't want to.
right. They have either they have had the first seed, I think, every time. New England had to come to
Well,
them the first time they were in the AFC Championship game. New England had to come to them,
oh right,
but they
right,
had
right.
Tom Brady, and that was the game. It went to overtime, and he never saw the ball because Brady went down and they kicked the field goal and game over.
Yeah, yeah.
So they didn't do anything about
That
the
one, yeah, they
overtime
didn't
rules.
change anything.
But then the
Yeah.
following year, he beat Josh Allen the same way. Now all of a sudden, oh, we need to do
Oh
something
yeah,
about the
that's right.
overtime rules now. Oh, we got to change something. This isn't right. Well, it wasn't right when it happened to Mahomes. Now all of a sudden it happens to Josh Allen. Now we got to do something about it. So
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
it's the NFL. They're wishy washy.
yeah.
So, but that
As
was
much as I'm attacking Mahomes today too, as I was rooting for them to beat the Bills last night. So
yeah, I was.
yeah, that would have helped the Browns a little bit,
And then
but they didn't do it.
our last game from the weekend is one we don't really need to talk about because I don't like the Cowboys. So, but they did
No,
play solidly against the Eagles last night,
yeah.
and they took it to
It,
them.
I think the Eagles, the Niners had a little stretch, right? They went 0-3.
Yeah,
The Eagles are in that stretch. Everybody gets it.
yeah,
They're tired. They've played a tough schedule.
and they played a lot
I'll
of
tell you though, yeah, they're going to be okay. I know
yeah.
2 of their next 4 games are against the Giants, so they'll be okay. They'll snap out of it. The rest of their schedule is really a piece of cake, so they're going
It
to be
is,
okay.
and they will. I mean,
Yeah,
I think last year they had a stretch where they lost 3 out of 4 or something like that,
yeah,
and so it's one of those things. They will rebound from it. The Chiefs are going to rebound from it. They'll both make
yeah.
the
They'll bounce back.
playoffs, and they'll both probably Well, we'll have to see what Mahomes does on the road in the playoffs for a change.
I would like to see it.
Yeah, yeah. So it was. There was nothing really about that game last night that was controversial, or it
With
was
the
just,
Cowboys game?
huh?
With the
Yeah,
Cowboys?
with the Cowboys game. Yeah, it was just run of the mill beatdown.
It was a beatdown. It was.
And it seemed like every time they were making a move, one of their three best players would fumble the ball or do something.
Yeah.
AJ Brown fumbled once, Hurts fumbled, and Devontae Smith fumbled. All of them when they're driving, when the game is still in question. So
I,
the Cowboys took it from them. I mean, they did.
yeah, I think we can agree, and we have the last couple of years. The Cowboys will go as far as Dak Prescott takes them.
And as long as they don't give the ball too much
If,
to him in a critical time,
right. Yeah,
it will be
right.
good. It will be good.
Make sure to get some handoffs into Pollard, and you might be okay.
Yeah, yeah. Because since
Yeah, if you got to rely on Dak, it's probably not going to happen.
no, ever since Tony Romo fumbled the field goal against Seattle, which would have sent them into the Super Bowl. Ever since that's happened, the Cowboys have come up short in big game situations. Ever since that happened, and that was
Wow.
it wasn't even a wet day in Seattle, and all he had to do was catch the football, and he didn't. And so ever since that's happened, Dallas has just been just nondescript, not there. So
And now, speaking, what do we have tonight? We've got Giants and
we
Commanders.
got Giants, and I don't know why. There's two games, and that's fine, but
I don't know why
they're
either.
starting at the same time. They're not.
I don't know what that's all about.
It's not even a staggered start. So
Yeah,
I don't get what
no,
that's about. But it's Packers
no.
and Giants, and then Titans and Dolphins. And so I think Packers will win. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure
and
Dolphins
Dolphins.
are going to win.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but
And now next weekend we start getting into Saturday football because there's 3 games NFL on Saturday.
yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah.
we're
So
getting to that time of year.
yeah, so that'll be good. So, well,
Yep.
buddy, thank you very much. We had a nice roundup of games to
Oh
go
yeah,
through. So
we'll get back to college coming here pretty quick.
yeah, yeah, sometime here soon. So it's time for us to have a little traveling music. I really like this song. I don't know what it is, but I really like it.
It's got a good jam to it.
All right, thank you guys very much. This is Otis,
And this is Jerry.
and this is Two Guys Catching Up on Football. Later.